Welcome to Shameless. Here we explore the transformative power of courage and action.
Thank you for joining us today. If you've enjoyed our conversations and you want to have more insightful discussions and hear from other incredible guests, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us to grow and continue bringing this amazing content. Thanks for joining in and enjoy today's episode of Shameless Podcast. This road less traveled, it's not always that you find a founder as well as a business development lead in one. How did you get to that point, and what is the thing that really inspires you?
That's one of those really tough questions, but it's a good one. I think my entire journey towards being a business founder started off with the dream. I was working out of Zimbabwe. I had worked in Zimbabwe for a little bit. Working out of Zimbabwe, and I was doing some great work out in Botswana, team building, worked a bit in tourism and leisure. And whilst I was working there, doing a lot of corporate team buildings and doing a lot of development for schools, it dawned on me one day that, hey man, you're doing amazing work, but you're doing it for Botswana. And half the time when I was in Botswana, they had such a negative attitude towards foreigners. I even felt like, you're doing this for people not even grateful that you're doing it for them. At this point in time, I'm a young guy, was gone to college or university, dropped out of university, worked in banking, around about early 2000, late 2000, never know, remember. You had to be working and you had to have some strong side hustles, burning money and doing this. And at some point in time, the side hustle made more money. And so you'd find that I ended up thinking, side hustle is the way to go, quitting my streamlined job. And before long, the economy basically shut me out. And that's how I found myself working in team building and found myself working at Botswana. But now that you're in Botswana and you decide, listen, I could give all this back to my country, all the sweat, all the hard work should go to my country. So I came back to Zimbabwe in 2014. When I came back to Zimbabwe in 2014, I had this grand idea of starting my own business. A business that would see, it's got so many amazing little facets to it. Tourism all in there. Whilst in Botswana, I'd meet a lot of people who would speak about Zimbabwe, who've been to Zimbabwe, and they'll tell you about Chipangali, they'll tell you about Chiredzi Goneresho, they'll tell you about how beautiful the falls are, they'll tell you about Kariba Dam, so many wonderful fishing stories, tell you about mana pools. And guess what? Not a lot of Zimbabweans have seen or enjoyed these places. So I had this whole idea of come back and put this whole thing of see Zimbabwe, make sure every Zimbabwean child has seen Zimbabwe before they reach the age of 18. Something that I am still passionate about, something that I am still working on. I do have other things that I do on the side. I still push those. They're lots of fun. But I would soon find myself in a very difficult country to set up a business in. And I'll soon find myself struggling to become this entrepreneur that I thought I'd be. And so I went back to the drawing board. And I had a little conversation with God, a little conversation with myself, and I'm like, geez, what do I need to do now? So I said, listen, you got to work in Zimbabwe for you to understand how Zimbabwe works. You understand Zimbabwe changes all the time. You were away, you don't know how business is done right now. And so I started working for a company, I won't disclose which, and I was selling motorbikes for them. This is one of those road less traveled stories where you don't learn sales from a textbook. You learn sales trying to convince a broke guy to buy a brand new motorbike, which costs half his earnings because you're selling to a tobacco farmer who just got paid maybe 2,000, you're asking him for 1,500. And you got to convince him to go back with this motorbike, man. And that's when the challenge begins. And to make it even exciting, more exciting, you're not getting paid a salary, you're getting paid a commission. So you don't sell, you don't get paid. So you got to sell. So in that moment, in that space, you truly find, if you dig deep enough, you will find the person in there. Or I dug deep enough and I found a person in there who would talk to these farmers like I was their son. Like I was that son who went to school and who was sent to advise them. I'd find their weaknesses and I would find their strengths and I'd appeal to their good nature. Basically getting sales and getting really high record sales at that time. And that took about a year for me to develop and to be comfortable in that area. But I soon realized that, hey man, I'm selling motorbikes to the same people over and over again. There's not much I'm learning. I've learned how to sell. Kudos. What's next? Up to date, a lot of people think opening a little store is entrepreneurship, but look, that's a whole conversation for another time. But I would soon, go through school, and at the same time, I would change jobs, and I would find myself at an organization known as WebDev Online Solutions. A quick rewind to early 90s. My father bought a computer because computers were the in thing at that time. But this thing had Windows 95. It was like...
Hey, and Windows, there's nothing better than Windows 95. For those people who missed that, that was the real thing. I mean, yeah. Please continue. I had to just shut up.
That was it. So I used to sit on this. Oh my God. It's the window through which I began a relationship with technology. My obsession with technology, gadgets, the latest, what's going on. Fair and fine, I wouldn't study anything in tech, really, but I'd be a seasoned salesman who has keen interest in technology and wants to keep up with the latest tech and everything. So, as fate would have it, I'm now at WebDev and I'm now selling tech products. Before long, I think I only stayed there, I was there for 3 months, and one of the new products, the new services, which was Pay Now, would quickly pick me up as the new sales guy, and there begins my true journey with the best mentorship in my life in terms of sales, tech, negotiation, anything high level I've ever done. Most of my achievements, the networks that I've built, that I sustain, any recognition I've received for most of the big things I've done, courtesy of my stay and my time with Pay Now.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as we embark on our mission to impact 1 million African lives by 2026.
This podcast is brought to you by Transformation Leader. You can follow us at www.t4leader.com.